Right, we continue to find the x-intercept. As I said, y is equal to 0, so I'm going to have 0 is equal to 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. I've just simply substituted where there is f of x, that's our y, so all this becomes 0 is equal to that one. Now this is the statement that I'm now having. It's now a quadratic equation that I'm having there. Now I can just rearrange this and start by writing the right hand side and then the left, and write it as 2x squared plus 2x minus 12 is equal to 0. As you can see, I did not change anything. It is still the same quadratic equation. I'm just writing it in the form that we are used to, the form that we understand, right? Now this type of an equation, this one is very, very easy to factorize, and before I can see that 2 is common throughout. So I can divide both sides and reduce this function, this equation actually. Divide both sides by 2. And when I'm dividing both sides by 2, it means I'm dividing everything there by 2, by 2, by 2, by 2. So that will give me x squared plus x minus 6 equal to 0. I have actually reduced it because it can be reduced because 2 is common throughout. You can factor out 2 and then it reduces the equation to that. Now this equation can actually be factorized. You can actually factorize this by looking at or looking for the factors of -6. That gives us a sum of +1. And I'm sure those factors are +3 and -2. So once you've got the factors, you can now write it in factor form and say x plus 3 times x minus 2 is equal to 0. This equation is quite easy to factorize, right? Now from there we know that either we know how to solve quadratic equations, either x plus 3 is equal to 0, this one is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So that will give us x equal to -3 or x equal to +2. Now this gives us the coordinates of the x-intercept. It means our x-intercept are -3 and 0. Remember, y is 0. There we are. Y is 0 and 2, 0. So what do I have now? I now have the y-intercept as well as the x-intercept. That information, I now have it. Now what else do I need from there? I need to find the turning point. Remember, we talked about the turning point, and we said we can get the x value of the turning point by using the formula x equal to -b over 2a. So if we go back to the function that we have, we'll realize that b is actually equal to 2 and a is actually equal to 2 as well, because a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, so we have them here. So we simply substitute and say x equal to -2 over 2 times 2. Now when you simplify that, we'll get our x is equal to -half. And once you get the x value of the turning point, it means you can get the corresponding y value. The corresponding y value, you can get it by substituting into the original function. Remember, the function is f of x equal to 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. So now the y value, y is always equal to f of x there, equal to 2 times -half squared plus 2 times -half minus 12. Now straight away from there, you can take your calculator and put all this information in the calculator, and the y value will be equal to -12,5. So as coordinates, the coordinates of the turning point, remember this is the turning point. coordinates of the turning point are negative half as well as negative 12,5. So basically with that, I now have the information that I need. I now have the y-intercept, I have it. I now have the x-intercept, I now have the turning point. So with that information, it's now easier for us to sketch the graph. Let's see how the graph will look like with that information. Right, remember always when sketching the graph, you must indicate your x-axis, your y-axis. I'm talking about the Cartesian plane. It must be very, very clear. You sketch your graph. I do have my x-axis as well as my y-axis. All that must be very, very clear. Now what else do I need? I need to put the intercepts. Remember we agreed that the x-intercepts were negative 3 and 0. So I can say my negative 3 is here. This point here, it's negative 3 and 0. As well as 2 and 0. 2 and 0 can be there. So that becomes 2 and 0. These intercepts, they must be indicated clearly. There is 2, 0. There is negative 3, 0. I also have the turning point. We talked about the turning point and we said the turning point was negative half and negative 12,5. So negative half somewhere here and negative 12,5, maybe I can say down there. Here it is. So that point is negative half and negative 12,5. There is another point that I also have, which is the y-intercept. I spoke about the y-intercept, which is 0 and negative 12. That one is just very, very close to negative 12,5. I can say it's just here. So this point is 0 and negative 12. Now with those points, it means I can actually sketch my parabola, which goes like that. So my parabola will look like this one that I'm having there. And I know that that is the graph of f of x. That is the graph of f of x. One other thing that we must also take note of is that the very x point of value of the turning point, which is negative half, which is that one, gives us the line of symmetry of the graph. It means that line there divides the graph into two equal halves. So x equal to negative half is actually the equation of the line of symmetry. So basically that's how you sketch the graph of a parabolic function of the form y or f of x equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Thank you very much.